Hi, welcome to another video. I think it's about time that I get a more official intro for my videos. So here's my 3D logo. And this video has been digitally remastered in 3D surround sound so that you can hear my voice all around you. Hi, welcome to another video. In this video, I want to share some revision tips so that you can go ahead and share with your children. And the first half of the video will be dedicated to pointers that I have that will work for all different subjects. So they are not only applicable to English, you can use them for other subjects as well. Then towards the end of the video, I'll try to share pointers that are just specifically meant for revising English. And the first point that I have for you is that it is always best if the child can pay attention in class, do the homework consistently, and just try to stay on top of his or her work. So when it comes to revision time, he actually has less work to do because he already understands the topic. So all he needs to do is to review the topics and try to refresh his memory. Okay, and the second point I have for you is to always start early and plan in advance. Now, many students like to leave things to the last minute because they think that the exams are so far away, and it's quite often that they are caught unprepared because the exam comes in the blink of an eye and they just realize that they are now short of time. So always start to plan early and start your revision as early as possible. So for students who are taking their PSLE, my advice is to start your revision right now if you haven't already done so. And the third tip that I have for you is to always create a timetable. You do not have to use an Excel spreadsheet to do a complicated timetable. Just use a normal piece of A4 size paper, right? And then divide the rows and columns into the different days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then each day you just divide the day into maybe 2 or 3 different time slots. So you have the morning session, afternoon session, and the evening session. And then decide how you want to allocate the time to the subjects. So you may not find that you can always follow up with the plan. And that's alright, but having a plan is definitely than having nothing at all. So at least when you're not sure where you should start your revision, you can always go back and take a look at your plan, and then that's where you begin. And the fourth point that I have for you is try not to spot questions. Now, many students, because they think that they're running out of time and you do not have enough time for revision to cover all the topics. So what they do is to try to spot the questions, and then they just isolate certain topics to revise. So when they do that, it actually reduces their chances of doing well in the exam. And the fifth tip that I have for you is when you do your revision, don't highlight everything, because if you highlight everything, you have essentially highlighted nothing. The whole point of highlighting certain points in our textbooks or our notes is to bring out the important points so that when we go back and revise, it's easier to spot those points. But if you highlight everything, then we can't actually see where are the special points that we need to pay attention to. And finally, before I move on to the next section, try to use cue cards to write down facts or formulas that are kind of hard to remember. So if you cannot remember certain mathematical formula or certain difficult words in science, you can always write them down on your cue cards. So when it comes to revision time, all you need to do, okay, is to use your cue cards. And the benefit of using cue cards is that you can always bring these cue cards along with you because they're very portable. Just put it in your pocket somewhere, when you're commuting, going for tuition lessons, or going to school. During your commutes, you can actually take out the cue cards and look at the words again and again. So that will actually help you to refresh your memory. Alright, now let's take a look at some pointers that I have for you that are specifically useful for English. Okay, the first point, revise your spelling lists. And if you're taking PSLE, spelling is especially important because it comes out in your editing exercise, and you do not want to make spelling mistakes throughout your entire paper. So continuous writing, situation writing, or your open-ended comprehension, right? If you decide to use certain words of your own, it always helps if you remember the spelling. Second point I have, revise your sentence synthesis topics, because sentence synthesis are known to be very tricky, okay, and there are certain steps, like for example certain topics like indirect to direct speech, when there are many rules that the students need to remember. So go through those topics and make sure that you remember the steps very well, and that if you are presented with a question during the exam, you can come out with a perfect answer. And the third point that I have for you is that take out your English revision exercises. This can be past year papers. It can be just revision practice papers from your assessment books. And just do the revision exercises on a regular basis. I suggest once a week to stay on top of your game. Because if you do not do that, some of the skills and some of the knowledge may be easily forgotten. And the last and final tip that I have for you here is that continue to read your compositions or essays that are written by other people so as to store great storylines in your head. Now, many students, when they go to exams, there's a tendency to be nervous, and that's understandable, right? But you want to have all these stories that are already in your head so that, and then you have this wealth of knowledge that you can make use of when you sit for the exam. So when you're nervous, the tendency for students is that they forget some of the knowledge, or they may get a mental block, and then that's the end of the exam because they can't write a very good composition for paper 1. And this activity itself doesn't need to take place in a formal setting. You can always take it as a leisure activity, right? Just read after dinner 1 or 2 essays or compositions that are written by other people, and try to learn and remember the storylines so that when you need the inspiration during the actual exam itself, you have some great storylines that you can bank on. So I hope you find some of the tips to be useful to you, and I certainly hope that you have started your revision. Let me know what you think of the revision tips that I have for you in the comment section below. And if you like more tips just like this one, just head on to my YouTube channel, subscribe to the video, or you can follow me on my Facebook page. The videos are 100% free. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.